Hey everybody, happy early Christmas. It's I don't know if it's the 13th today. No, the 14th today, I think. I just thought I would light a fire because I've kind of got a chill and have a little talk. I made a really good video earlier this week. You'd never know it because you're not going to see it because the vocal stuff the audio was all screwed up again. I made it twice and I really had something to say. And now everything's changed. Well, not really changed. They've gotten sort of darker and worse. But anyway, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. But it all starts in the beginning with me and what I'm processing and what I'm working through. And you all know I've dealt with depression before, and I've dealt with depression in the last 45 days, particularly because of the decrease in daylight hours here. And at the same time, it coincided with my friend Mary, who's the lady who helped me get out to do the rambles, went on vacation for a month, and so I didn't walk anywhere with my group for a month. That was very, very difficult for me. And I found I slid down a really slippery slope of inaction, not moving. I don't think I was eating horribly bad, but I was drinking more than I should earlier every day to combat depression, self-medicating, and I also found that I was eating, of course, with the season of the year, more sweets. I had a cookie exchange that I baked for twice because the first batch wasn't good enough, and then I had trouble not eating those. I had to get rid of those. Then I made a second batch and went to the cookie exchange, and that was not a pretty sight, and nor were the 9 dozen I brought back home from making the second batch. So all the cookies are out of my house now. I had decided as of Wednesday when I went on my very first walk, no, Tuesday, I got on my first walk again with my rambling group, which was just meant everything to me. It lifted me tremendously. But I have been very frustrated. From taking that walk, it helped me go, okay, you need to make sure you get your crap together here. It was the walk. You feel like a new person now. You've walked. But it didn't come back 100% because I've been pulling that kind of draggy depression, lack of sunlight issue behind me. It's the first time I've been depressed in the 3 years since I lost the weight or had the procedure done. Have been depressed, and believe me, I spent most of my life in kind of a low-grade depression, sort of like having a low-grade infection. It's sort of just a permanent part of your personality. But I've been so happy and so positive, and everybody's like, I can't believe you were ever depressed or negative. It's like, oh my God, you just didn't really know the real me. Actually, the real me is the person that I got to be after I lost the weight, but I digress. Here I am. It's Friday afternoon. I've done my 7-mile walk, another 7-mile walk with my friend Mary. I just, I can't say enough about what the walks outside do for me. And it was cold and rainy and very windy, but I loved every stinking minute of it. Even the rain, hitting my face to the degree that it hurt sometimes. I mean, you felt it in a painful way on your face, so it didn't matter. The worst part was the mud. There was one muddy field where my foot went down, and when it came back up, it was so heavy it should have taken my shoe off, but it didn't. But you come up with mud on either side of your shoe, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you the mud extends 3 inches beyond the side of your foot, and it's about a half an inch deep, and it doesn't go away. And every time you put your foot down, you pull it up, it weighs more, and it weighs more, and you can hardly get, my heart was starting to pound, like when you're going up an incline, like walking in the sand where you sink really deep and you can't, it was like that. And I said, Mary, I will do anything. I will walk another 5 miles, but don't make me go through that mud again. So, it was a long walk, but it was a good walk, and it's a good kind of tired you have after that. But that is not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about the fact that in the last few weeks, even though I knew I wanted to get back on track, and the last time I got on the scale has been several weeks because the number upset me so much. And I found that, when you're, that whole thing about, when it works, it works. When it's right, it's right. It doesn't matter whether I do it well or not. Truth is truth. If you get on your scale and you're up a couple of pounds and you do your correction, your self-correction behaviors to get the scale to do whatever, to lose those 2 pounds, whether it's don't eat salty food, don't eat any carbs for a few days, do extra exercise, drink more water, go back and make sure you dejunk your food choices. And it always worked. Well, I let this go too long. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I've actually had I would say absolutely real regain. Not just a little bounce back, but I would say real regain. And I could tell because certain things were getting tighter. When I went to get dressed for a Christmas event, I went to put on a plaid skirt I wore last year. And even though it fit, it was not becoming. It was not a good look. And as much as I understand I didn't need to stay rail thin as I was. I mean, I didn't need to live at 131. I certainly didn't live at 128, but a nanosecond when I skidded down that hill and went, and then the body started to, balance out. So even past your year of loss, you can still maintain pretty easily. And then we moved here, it started to creep up. And I can attest that is lifestyle change. I wasn't at the gym as much. I wasn't, walking the ways I was before. And I was eating a lot of homemade bread. Not, I'm going to say a lot. I mean, a slice or two. Homemade, from scratch, whole, grainy, seedy bread. Healthy bread. But still, if I am not exercising, I cannot eat that. If I am not exercising, I cannot have a glass of wine every day or two. Or I will see it in the end. Well, the worst thing is I cannot have cookies in my house and eat them 4 and 5 at a time and expect the scale not to go up. So when I got on the scale this morning, which I wasn't going to do because once I started to walk, I started to feel more positive. And I thought, okay, you can take care of this. This will be okay. Your mind will be better, and then your behaviors will change. You won't self-medicate with wine and cookies and whatever. But, excuse me, I thought I was going to sneeze, but then I didn't. But we all know that it's more what you put in your mouth than the amount of exercise you do on the scale. Reflections on the scale. And when I got on the scale this morning, the last time I got on it said 137, 138. I about freaked. Then I said, well, that's it. I got adjusted to the 135 here, going, okay, 135, 136, 137. No longer am I in the 131 to 133 range where I was, really very comfortable for 2 years. So I got more comfortable in accepting that my body needed to gain a little bit, 135, 136. I could live, I could have a little bread, I could have a little wine, I could live happily ever after. Well, then October, November hit, and boom, guess what? No. The scale was 142 or 143 this morning. I had a shit attack. And I can tell you that there are no longer cookies or bread in my house, and I will not drink alcohol until I see the scale come down about 5 pounds. It's going to be difficult. You get really used to your habits, your behavior patterns, and I used to be the invincible. I never pretended I was invincible, but it just seemed so easy to just eat the same things. And then I realized you go further away and further away and further away. And even though I wasn't eating bags of chips and French fries, it doesn't mean that the different choices have not messed with my metabolism. I was so afraid my metabolism would go and become the metabolism it used to be, which meant nothing affected it. And I still have some concern. Honestly, because I don't know what the reality is, I can only do what I can do and hope that it turns out okay in the end. So, more walking, exercise every day of some kind, even if it, basically getting on the elliptical upstairs and doing 20 minutes on that, watching YouTube videos, or back visiting with my husband in the mornings on the elliptical while he watches the morning news and gets dressed for work. I must do something. It helps my mood, it helps my body, it helps my metabolism. I'm not afraid to come out here and say that I'm a failure, because I don't think I'm a failure, but I wanted you to see the reality is even I, who does not run marathons, I mean, so there you go. I think if you ran marathons, I guess you can get away with a lot. I just can't do that. So I have to learn how to live my life making better choices. So from now on, my choices will no longer be, you digress from when you think a real treat is some Greek yogurt and a little dried fruit or a piece of real fruit. Ooh, that's a treat. Well, you know what? Time for me to go back to that world I used to live in where it was simple. It was lentils and a little Greek yogurt and some hot sauce. Maybe twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. It's more green salads. I need to go get some fresh kale. I need to make more soups in the blender, just like with tomatoes and tomato juice and just basic vegetarian, low calorie, higher volume nutritional food for me for a while until I can see the scale come down. I'm not one that really wants to go in for, I'm sorry it's getting so dark, but this is what happens. Oh, gee, it's 3:20. I wonder why it's so stinking dark in my living room, because it's 3:20. Let's see if oh, yeah, there's a little light this way here. Yeah, no, wrong way. Let's do it this way. Well, it's just as dark. Let me just move so you can actually see my face. So bottom line is, folks, that I'm not doing so well. Not only am I not doing well physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, I don't know, I look like shit. But anyway, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not worried about that. It's really about getting a handle back on the life that I was living that kept me in the 130s. That's all I care about. And that my clothes fit. And the majority of the clothes I wear on a daily basis are not an issue. There were things that got too tight, and there are things that do not look good on me now. And where do you wonder where all that 10 pounds maybe, I think this is 10. I mean, if you really want to say I was at 133 and if I'm at 143, that's 10 pounds up, and that is not okay. And that's from when I moved here 6 months ago. It's all in my hips. It's all in my saddlebags. I guess it's a little in my face. People, I look at some of those Vegas pictures and I was pretty, yeah. I would say a lot of it's in my saddlebag. A lot of it's in my thighs, which is not where I want it to be, because then your jeans don't look right, because you got them tight on your thighs and then they're loose. Anyway, that's it. I'm sorry this is not an uplifting video. I meant for it to be an uplifting video. One of those challenging, have you lost your way? Have you lost your path? How to get back on track. But you know what? I ain't preaching until I can do it. So that's just it. This is just a video. I need y'all to know that I'm not dead. I'm really good. Looking forward to Christmas, I guess. I'm not sad about not going home. I seem to have been very, very busy, and that's kept my mind off of it. I'm hoping Steve and I will find some place to go over Christmas week, because he's taking some time off because he had use it or lose it leave. So anyway, God, what a mess. I'll talk to y'all later. Don't worry about me. I just wanted to give you an honest, bottom line. This is where I'm at. This is what's been happening, and that's because it's getting dark. Look, let me show you outside. Well, maybe it doesn't look so dark out there to you, but it's dark to me. I'm in the conservatory. Okay, I'm whipping you around now. All right, guys, you see my decorations for Christmas? I didn't get a tree, so I hung some decorations. That's a Christmas pudding. That's what that is right there. And this is chain. They do these chains in England. That's how they decorate their trees. Remember those from preschool? Yeah. So that's it. Too long, too boring. I'll see you guys later soon, I promise, with an update. Bye.